Hello, everyone. My name is Kostya, and I'm registered migration agent for Aussizz Adelaide. Today, I will be giving a short briefing with regard to immigration assay updates and visa processing. So I wanted to be as interactive as I possibly can. And this is why I will just give you an update on some interesting facts, and the rest of the chat will be up to you. So I will be welcoming questions after I finish, and I will finish very soon, just a several minute update of your time, and then questions will be welcome. And the rest of our conversation, me and you, is going to be based on questions and answers. You ask your questions, I will do my best to give the answers. Okay, so we've had a couple of very interesting situations recently. So the new skilled and talented stream has yielded its first positive results. We've had some invitations in it, but one of the invitations I'm especially proud of is with a salary of slightly higher than 80K, and for a 190 visa for a customer service manager, not working in the field of their skills assessment, okay, but attracting a high salary of slightly over 80,000. I'm especially proud of this one because we went with this client through skills assessment, which was not easy, and we ended up getting there. This is a very complex skills assessment. Customer service manager, call center manager are very complex skills assessments with VetAssess, where VetAssess wants to see what you can do, wants to see that this role involves cross-departmental work, wants to see that it's not just a team lead at a call center, wants to see that you design policies already at the level of customer service manager or call center manager. So pretty complex, and I'm pretty proud of it that we got through it successfully, although with an interview. Yes, VetAssess can in fact schedule interviews with clients when it wants to determine whether the applicant is in fact who they claim to be. Yeah, documentary evidence is nice, but VetAssess wants to talk to you in a conversation, who you are, what you do, how can you explain this in your own words. So we went through that as well with that client, and all went well. So some success in the skilled and talented stream, which is very nice. Means beating people, getting good jobs, even if people did not live in SA prior to that. If they get good jobs, even not in the area of skills assessment, even not closely related to their skills assessment, if they get a good job at over 80K, they can be selected. That's very important. Now, having said that, for programming people, for people in the IT, sometimes you would have to go well over 80K, because I've heard and I've seen people in IT that easily have the salaries of 90, 120, 130, and even 160K annually. So the competition in IT would be much harder than simply attracting 80K level. Similar could be in engineering, when I've seen plenty of people attract the 120, 130 salary threshold. In other areas, however, being even slightly over 80K can work well for you in the skilled and talented stream. And the second thing I wanted to share with you is another success story of another client of ours who is a teacher of English as a second language. Now, that's one I'm especially proud of, because before succeeding, I guess we failed 2 or 3 times. And, you know, and this is basically where I always tell all our clients, why do you hire a registered migration agent? It's not that you get special status with our help, it's that you get a lot of knowledge with our help, and it's that we're able to use our experience to pull you out of very difficult circumstances. Now, with that client, we had state nomination refused several times, just because, remember last year, anyone who was self-employed, was incredibly hard when you were self-employed. You had to lodge an expression of interest or an ROI, as they called it, and you waited and waited and waited, and then not invited, not invited, not invited. So that was a bit of a drama. And then after a series of not invites, the person had to transfer from self-employment to actual employment. So not being self-employed, but working for an employer. And finally, with the new state nomination rules, it worked this year. So such a long way, but 190. Beautiful. Now, yeah, couple of success stories, but I'm not there to make you bored with our stories. I'm there to listen to your questions today. Any concerns that you may have, any particular questions with regard to state nomination, any particular questions with regard to skills assessment, or any other related issue. High interstate applicant, 75 points, including state for projected program admin. What are the chances for 190 essay under talent and innovation stream? Okay, so it's now not called talent and innovation, it's called skilled and talented or something like that. Was talent and innovation last year. Okay, now importantly, your points don't matter anymore in this stream. Okay, so crossed out the 75 points, doesn't matter. What does matter, as an interstate applicant, when someone tells me they're an interstate applicant, this means to me that they are living elsewhere in Australia, okay? So you have not yet arrived. So if you have not yet arrived, then you would be required to show that you have a job offer of at least 80K, and that company has made an effort to relocate you here. So there's a memorandum or an agreement, anything signed that can make the state confident that you're relocating. I'm working as a customer resolution for the last 2 years. Do you think I can lodge my EOI under any occupation? Okay, so if it's the, okay, I think that's the next question. Sorry for that. So I go back to project and program admin. You need a job offer from SA and a contract, and you need to be commencing that work, okay? It's not a requirement to have started that job, but just a memorandum and the company signing up for your relocation or for giving you a job here in the talented and skilled, and salary over 80K, okay? So they will be looking at the company, they would be looking at the salary. These are important factors. If you are interstate without the job offer over 80K, you should not be considering. Even for people who are interstate and with a job offer, I always say, start that job in SA. Get your first payslip, your second payslip. That shows that you are very serious, that your employer is serious in paying you that salary. So that's important. That's about the skilled and talented. Okay, someone is working as customer resolution for the last 2 years. Do you think I can lodge my UI under any occupation? Okay, look. So when you say that someone is a customer focused role, to me, customer services, any customer service work, unless it's a customer service manager, is skill level 4, and in my opinion, does not match any skilled occupation, in my opinion. However, if you have skills assessment for another occupation, for example, you have skills assessment for accountant or for engineer, but you're working in customer services, what you can do then with that skills assessment of engineer or customer service manager or whatever, you go to outer regional, work 6 months there in any job. Because if it's simple customer resolution, customer care, advising customers on the phone, helping them out, it's a skill level 4 job, not considered not to be a skilled job. So if you want to migrate with that, SA gives you such opportunity, but then you have to have skills assessment in someone else, in some other skill level 1, 2, 3 job, and go to outer regional for 6 months, 30 hours a week. Okay. Question 3, what is the chance for chemical engineer with 30 points of 491 offshore? Not bad, not bad. I would be looking at the profile. I would be, look guys, it's not only about the points. I would ask a question, how were these points achieved? Is it 0 for work experience? Might be a problem. Let's think, why do we in general need offshore applicants? Why? We have SA graduates. What do offshore applicants have that SA graduates don't have? I can tell you. Experience. New way of doing things from offshore, which we don't have here in Australia. But how can you get a new way of doing things? Only by having done the job, right? So would it make a lot of sense for SA to invite a candidate, even with all the points in the world, with 0 for work experience? Would it make much sense? It would make some sense, obviously. You would be competitive for points, but would you be competitive as a profile for migration? Would you be attractive in terms of offering something to the state, in terms of your CV? Perhaps not. So I would not blindly look at the point score. You know, someone might be offshore and might be able to make it with 70 or 75 points, just because, you know, a trades worker might be able to make it with 65 points, just because they have a skill set that no one else has. Just because they have claimed, maybe they're 40 years old, but they have claimed work experience. 8 years of work experience in a trades occupation. We're in critical trades shortage these days in Australia. I've been waiting for a plumber to come the last months, the last 4 weeks. Every time you schedule the plumber to come, they never turn up. You know, so what is the situation? It's about work experience. It's not only about the points, it's about your profile as a whole. So I would look at profiles. I would not look at points that much. Okay, another question. So that was the answer to chemical engineer. Another question. Hi guys, I'm a trade worker. Oh, brilliant. We were looking for you. I started talking about you even before I read your question. I'm a trade worker, and in my trade, I'm required to work for 6 months in Adelaide to apply for 491. I've been injured at work and just had a surgery last week. I'm still getting paid from work cover, my weekly salary for 38 hours. I'm still on the payroll of my company. I just wanted to know if my experience would be counted for the months I wouldn't be able to work. I'd still be getting paid for 38 hours each week with pay slips till I'm fully recovered. Thank you. Okay, very good. That's a very good question. Absolutely. The answer to that is yes. Everything is going to be fine. It just is whether yourself or if you choose to go with an agent, that agent needs in a separate submission to explain the situation to the case officer so that the case officer don't make wrong conclusions. Yeah, they should be explained that it should be explained that this is on payroll, you're being paid. So importantly, this is a health accident, you're being paid. You continue working. Yeah, it's just your health condition which doesn't permit you to. You're on the payroll. So because of that accident and because of the cover being activated, that is absolutely considered to be continuous work experience. And of course, when you apply for SA state nomination, there are documents they look at. There are pay slips, you have them. There are bank statements, you have them, money keeps coming in. There is reference letter, you will have it because you are in fact employed in the business. So maybe not even, you won't even need a submission to explain any of these because you're employed and you're being paid. There should not be any further questions. I also think that it would be highly unreasonable and uncompassionate for any case officer to refuse a person just because they're on an accident compensation. Yeah, wouldn't make much sense to me. So it should be all fine. Okay, best with your recovery. Hope you recover soon from the accident. Sorry that has happened to you. Can highly talented be used for self-employed? I don't think so, because highly talented clearly wants you to have a job offer from a business. You can't offer yourself a job or contract yourself for the job. It doesn't make any sense, and it clearly wants a salary of 80K or over. Yeah, so you wouldn't be able to make it a self-employed in that stream. However, if you simply come to Adelaide and start work in Adelaide, you might be able to meet the work in SA requirements. Because earlier, now this is an important distinction. Earlier, last financial year, anyone who was self-employed, they would just were put in what did they call talent and innovation or whatever skill. They put them here and rarely invited them. Now, self-employed people can apply under working in SA, or even SA graduates can apply self-employed. Just the application form at some stage will ask, so do you work for someone, or have you been self-employed? And if self-employed, you should upload that, okay? So, but not in the highly skilled and talented. No, you can't offer yourself a job. Yeah, it wants a company with a certain turnover, wants you to have existed in Adelaide, looks at the sector you are in. You can't have created a job for yourself for the skilled and talented. Okay. Hi, I just finished my 6 months outer regional living time for outer regional stream, but I did only work for 30 hours a week for 3 months. What are the chances if I apply for outer regional stream? Thanks. Wonderful question. Thank you. Okay. So if you look at the requirements will tell you has been working for 6 months. Now, what is it? Or has worked, whatever. What does that mean? Had 6 months at 30 hours a week. Started 6 months ago and has worked at 30 hours all this time. That's the correct reading of it. That's the correct reading of it. Okay. What will your employer write in the reference letter? If they write worked first 3 months, 20 hours a week, second 3 months, 30 hours a week. Do you think that will work? I think no. If your employer writes has been working at around 30 hours, because when you say I've worked 30 hours for 3 months, but other months less, what is less? If you've been working 28, 27, 26, employer might write has been working around 30 hours. Please check payslips for detail. Yeah. If they write that, and the requirement for state nomination is submit last 3 months of payslips. Yeah, last 3 months of payslips. Then you could have possibly a positive decision from the decision maker. But don't forget that you also submit bank statements. And if you did significantly less than 30 hours, for example, 15 or 20, like significantly less, the decision maker might pick up the bank statements and say, and the last 3 months of payslips and say, well, it looks to me you've been paid, you are paid at 30 hours now, but back then you were paid significantly less, the decision maker might say, and may refuse. Yeah. So to answer that question, you need to know less is how less, and what will the employer be writing in the reference letter. Can be a yes, can be a no, have to look at the documents, but yeah, you can try your luck. What do you have to lose? If you go with an agent, then with Aussizz, if unsuccessful with that one, you work for 3 months more at 30 hours, we would relodge it at no extra charge on our side. With the Department of Immigration SA, you would lose $375. That's what you risk, okay? With us, you would not lose the first half of our fees. Okay, question, and one more question. How beautiful, we have so many questions today. What are chances of mechanical engineering SA offshore aspirant, as I'm waiting at 75 points for 491? Okay, I'm not sure the word aspirant was used as it was intended to be used If aspirant is someone, a PhD candidate doing a doctoral degree, or was it applicant that you were trying to use? Okay, if you used applicant, you're just an applicant mechanical engineer with 75 points. Assume there would be many more competitive people with you or than you. However, I would think about the profile. I would think about the profile. What I said before about the previous question when you asked me, when another person asked me about the points. It's not only the points, it's also who you are. What is in your CV? What can you offer? Are you single? Fine. If not single, does your partner know English? What does your family as a family unit can offer? I would look at that, at all that. If you have 75 points, but you have 8 years of experience, fantastic, you would be competitive. You would lose for age perhaps, but you would be very competitive because of that experience. So it's necessary to look at the profile. And one very important thing that I want to say, because I think that the person is writing this question because they have self-lodged the application. I always keep warning self-lodged applicants, because that's a situation we face very commonly. When someone lodges an EOI, gets invited, then comes here and says, guys, I want you to apply for my visa. We say, great. We look at what they've claimed in points. We count their points, especially if that's about work experience. And we say, sorry, but you have overclaimed your points. That's a big issue, overclaiming points. People lose invitations on that. People claim a lot of points, 80, 90, 100, and then they lose points. Some people say claim only 75, but still lose points. So not all points can be claimed. Sometimes not all work experience can count in. Usually people make mistakes when they claim work experience. So it's always better when you go into an EOI, that's your most important thing in life, because that's where you claim points. If luck happens and you're invited and you have overclaimed, you have missed that opportunity. Hence, I advise not to go on your own for EOI, because a migration agent would be able to explain if points were overclaimed or not, would be able to determine points correctly at EOI stage, so that no drama happens when it's time to lodge a visa. Because if it's time to lodge and then we see that you can't back up your claims with evidence, you lose that invitation, because if you apply, then the visa gets refused. That's a very important thing. Okay. What about manufacturer with 65 for 190 and 75 for 191 offshore with 5 years of experience in skilled field? Any hope? Possibly. I would look at the profile though. If the person has 65 points for 190, I would think, if they're 40 or 41, why only 5 years of experience? If they are younger, I would understand why they have 5 years of experience. That's fine. But what about the English? What is the English for? 5 years of experience is generally nice for a skilled migrant, but then age and English, I would consider the other two things in this profile. If partner, then does partner have English points? Yeah, there may be some hope. Project and program admin, interstate, 75 points, highly skilled, 190. My employer is based in Sydney and does not have business premise in Adelaide, but they're happy to provide remote work in Adelaide. Does it count? Definitely no. Definitely no. An SA business or a branch physically established in SA. Because if your business is based in Sydney and providing you remote work here, it means you have no connection with SA. As soon as you're given 190, it's very high chance that you leave SA for Sydney. And that's what SA wouldn't want to happen. Okay, so no, that wouldn't work. I have a question: which subclass, 838 or 870, is better for single parents, age 68, who has not passed a balance of family test? Okay, that's interesting. 870 does not require balance of family test. That's my answer. And 838. Well, that's interesting. I might be missing out on something, but I haven't. Don't remember doing any 838. What's an 838 visa? What's that? Age dependent relative. Oh wow, that's not really a parent visa, and that visa is processed for ages. So I would really be looking at the circumstances of someone who wants to lodge that that visa. 30 years processing or 20 years processing. I would want to look at the circumstance of someone who's lodging 838. 870 is better for parents, certainly, and for 870 you don't. 70 is a temporary visa, 3 or 5 years stay. And you certainly do not need to meet the balance of family test for 870. There's no problem like that. Next question. Hi, I'm doing a job in outer regional SA, but I do 20 hours from February to August. But from September, I'm doing 30 hours per week. Can I lodge an EOI on December 1st week? Sorry, I don't know if it's the same person that had asked the question before about regional or a new person, because I gave some very, very sufficient detail about outer regional. You just dropped, if it's the same person, you've just provided me exact hours. Yeah, you've provided that it's at 20 and 30. Yeah, so I will say that again, February to August, and then September, October, November, December. Yeah, okay. So again, if your employment reference says February, or from February to August, but then you have September, October, November. Yeah, okay, 3 months. Yeah, 3 months. And before that, 3 months at 20 hours. So if your employer puts 20 hours first 3 months and 20 hours next 3 months, this is 30 hours next 3 months, this is not going to work because it says 20. No? It might be refused. If employer puts around 30, maybe it would work, but then again, remember, you will provide last 3 months of pay slips at 30 hours. They will see the amount. You will also provide the bank statement for the last year. They can ask, why is the salary less? Might have worked less than 30 hours. Please provide your previous pay slips. You will provide the previous pay slips where it will say 20 hours. So can be refused. Look again. Ask yourself, do you have much to lose? I would say it's just the SA fee. If you're using an agent like ourselves, we wouldn't be charging you twice. If you get refused, you could reapply. But then talk to your employer. Are they going to write around 30 hours in the reference, or are they going to write this 20 hours, this 30 hours? If they do 20 hours, then most likely would not work. Yeah. Can we also get the assessment on the basis of our overseas degree? So it's the question about skills assessment. Then generally, overseas degrees or overseas degrees combined with work experience, depending on the skills assessment authority, can be a basis of a skills assessment. Let me give you an example. Generally, a bachelor's from an Indian university and 3 career episodes would be the basis of getting skills assessment as a professional engineer. That's a positive scenario. Negative scenario. Generally, an accountant's degree from an overseas university would not meet the requirements for a skills assessment because it would not have some of the subjects that we teach accountants in Australia, for example. taxation law. You might say that I have taxation law in my transcript. Yes, you do, but that is Indian taxation law or some other country's taxation law. It's not Australian taxation law. Okay, so there you go. Engineers plus CDR skills assessment. Some other, it's a case by case basis, on case by case basis, but generally, you can use offshore degrees for skills assessment. Remember that accountants, engineers do not require work experience. Many other jobs, including VETASES jobs, and VETASES is the biggest skills assessment authority in Australia, all require work experience. This means that basically you would not be able to get a skills assessment unless you have work experience. So it's not a question where your degree comes from. It's whether you have post-degree work experience. Okay. It seems that our questions are drying out. Wonder if anyone has any more questions about state nomination, skills assessment, what we are doing, why we are doing this. It's always important that if you hire a migration agent, if you decide to engage a migration agent, you need to look for someone with a reputation in the industry. Someone who is honest in their dealing with the department. Someone who's truthful. Someone who always does the right thing. Someone who dissuades you from lodging any bogus documents or false information. Someone who can advise on how to do the process in the correct way so that you have no problems in the future. Yeah? Do not work with dishonest agents. Do not work. I'm horrified when I hear that people purchase work experience and they look for agents that can sell them work experience. Horrible trend. Do not do this, guys. You will get 3-year ban. And perhaps the agents that sell work experience or do anything else that is wrong, perhaps the department already knows about them and they are under investigation already. So when you choose a migration agent, reputation. What is their reputation in the community? What is their reputation in the industry? That's very important. For manufacturer, I'm sure I'm 37, have work experience from 2008, but not closely related. So VETASES has given only 5 years. English 10, no partner skills claimed. Okay. Okay. So for 37 for manufacturer, that's not bad because manufacturer is a complex job. You wouldn't be given that job at the age of 25 normally. So yeah, that's fine. Only thing is, have you claimed the points correctly? Because VETASES is one of these organizations where there may be a trick. VETASES always writes in a skills assessment outcome what the date deemed skilled is. Have you followed that guideline carefully? What is the date deemed skilled? Only experience past that date can be claimed, and not the overall experience that you took to VETASES. That's an important thing. So yeah, there might be some likelihood of success. Okay, so question 14, what is a memorandum for highly skilled in 190 for skilled and talented stream? Yeah, look guys, so there can be an agreement. Let's look at how they phrase it on the website. So what they say is, you must demonstrate either have commenced employment in South Australia. So commenced is pretty clear. Yeah, you get paid. You have commenced employment. Or have an employment contract
for a position you plan to relocate to in South Australia. To in South Australia. You're also able to apply if you are currently working for a company interstate and intend to relocate to a South Australian current company. And that's what I'm saying. You're working interstate in that Sydney-based company, but the Sydney-based company has got an Adelaide-based office, and there's a memorandum of understanding or decision by that Sydney-based company that they're transferring you to that sister company or to its subsidiary or not subsidiary, in fact, the same entity in Adelaide. That's what I call the memorandum of understanding. You can call it however you want. Employment contract, transfer agreement, whatever the HR calls it, they give you a job based here in an office based here. That's what I call memorandum of understanding. Can be called in different ways: contract, new labor agreement, addendum to contract, where it says we're now relocating him to our him or her to our Adelaide office. Okay. Is there any chance for statistician SA 491 with a total 75 points? Is that offshore or onshore? As an offshore candidate, the statistician is an offshore candidate. Okay, yeah. So work experience would be considered, age would be considered, partner without partner, profile would be considered, CV would be considered. Without knowing all these details, I would tentatively say yes. Is there a chance? Yes, there is some chance. There is some chance. Always look at applications. How can they be improved? How can they be improved further? If that someone has 5 years of experience, let's say, but proficient English, 65 each. Of course, they can't increase 5 to 8 years of experience, yeah, obviously. But what can they do? They can do NAATI. They can do partner English skills assessment, if there is a partner. They can do partner skills assessment, possibly if partner's occupation is on the list. They can do superior English, IELTS 8 each or PTE 79 each. So yes, there is chance, there is, yeah. But how much that chance is something I would not be able to tell. There is some chance. Yeah, other than that, we'd have to look at the profile. Other questions, guys? Any other questions? Any other lodgements? SA has increased places for offshore candidates, which is excellent. It's absolutely fantastic. We have more seats for offshore candidates now, I think by 900 or whatever. We continue inviting onshorers, but we'll also have more places for offshorers. So it's going to be, it is already a big year for Australian immigration. It's going to be even bigger, even more remarkable. Questions drying out, everyone. Not everyone wants to share their details or too much of their details. I'm working as a technician from in Greater Adelaide for the last 9 months, applied for an nomination as engineering technologist on 7th of September, working in a SA stream, but have not got any response from them till now. It's almost 9 weeks. They mentioned on the website you'll get answers with 2 to 8 weeks. I already submitted inquiry last week, but no response. What do you reckon? What should I do? Okay. Okay. So the way it looks, yeah. I'm going first to answer your question and then say what I think. So regarding the timelines, SA nomination takes time. It's not as fast as it was last financial years. So please be patient.
It's not fast these days. Can take weeks. Is it normal to wait for 9 weeks? Possibly. I didn't have many waiting for 9 weeks, though. We managed to do faster than that. But for a couple, let's say out of 30 last invitations that I had, couple might have been waiting for 9 weeks. But to me, waiting is not the problem. The problem that I see in this person's question is, if you are assessed as engineering technologist, then, but you work as technician, the technician is not, may not be closely related occupation. That's the problem. So the problem is not how long it takes to get an answer, but the fact that you can get a refusal. Yeah, so normally technicians don't count as engineering technologists. Engineering technologists is a skill level 1, it's skilled engineering role. Technician would not be considered a closely related occupation. So I advise you to talk to the migration agent about the case. Okay. I'm going to finish my 6 months outer regional requirement by Feb 2023. And oh, really? Why so long? Feb 2023. End of Feb. Sorry, I thought 2023, end of 2023. By end of February. Okay. I got materials engineer skills assessment with 85 points, including state points. What are the chances for me? Okay. A very simple answer to that question. You've got very high points for outer regional stream. Okay. You shouldn't be too concerned about points in outer regional stream. You should just be focused on getting all the documents right, getting all the evidence correct, getting all the hours. That's the focus. 85 points is a brilliant point count for outer regional stream. You shouldn't be worrying about points for outer regional stream. Okay. Chances are very good. It's 30 hours a week, remember, 30 hours a week, 6 months, 30 hours a week in any job or a combination of jobs. Another question that we've got. After lodging ROI for 190, how long does it take to get outcome in SA? Well, I don't really remember lodging many ROIs, because when do you lodge ROIs? You only lodge ROI for skilled and talented, right? That's it. Only skilled and talented. For others, you do direct application. So maybe the high performing graduate. Yeah. For everyone else, you do the direct application. How long does it take? Yeah, it can be 7-8 weeks. Can be up to 7-8 weeks. Can take time. When can we expect to see the next round of invitations? SA does not have rounds, guys. It's not like Melbourne or similar states. It does not have rounds. You can be invited any day, at any time, because SA is one of the best, if not the best states in this country. Anytime you can be invited. Case officers are working consistently on your applications. There are no invitation rounds. Any day can be your happy day. When can we expect SA to see the next round? Okay, I've read that already. Can you please share the processing time for the 190 visa? Yes, of course. It differs wildly for all our clients. If you're a nurse or a medical practitioner, you can get it in 3 months, registered. If you are in outer regional and keep living in outer regional, 2 months, 3 months. Even if you're not a nurse, I had chefs' cooks processed in 3 months in outer region. If you are in Metro Adelaide and you're not in the nursing or medical occupations, the processing can be anywhere between 3 to 12 months and more. It's not uncommon for processing times to be more than 12 months. And this is not beyond normal. You should start worrying after it's been 2 years and no reply from the department. Then you should start worrying. But normally, 12, 13, 14, when done, all applicants are done. Yeah? 3 to 12 months or around that can be the processing time. Hi, is there any recent updates for offshore application IT background? Question is not clear. As I have said, SA does not publish invitation rounds. It doesn't have invitation rounds, only individual invitations, and it doesn't publish the outcomes of which occupations were invited and with how many points. Okay. I applied from Victoria for 491 visa with 80 points as mechanical engineer. How long it take to get a response? So do I understand you correctly? You applied from Victoria for 491 as mechanical engineer. Under what stream did you apply? If you are not in SA, you could only apply in skilled and talented. Correct? Because you couldn't apply under SA graduate because you're not SA graduate. You couldn't apply under working in SA because you're in Victoria. So did you apply as skilled and talented? If yes, skilled and talented response where, yeah, it's a long one. Can be 7, 8, 9 weeks, 10 weeks easily. We're coming to a finish of this session. So any questions you need to be answered, you're welcome to send them now. For highly skilled visa, 1 year job offer contract letter is okay, or we need to have for more? That's fine, can work. But then what's the occupation? Mechanical engineer? If mechanical, then what's the salary? What's the business? What's the company? What does it do in Adelaide? So possibly, I know that possibly can be considered. I know that SA will make a webinar regarding offshore applicants. What can we expect from this webinar? I'm the wrong person to ask this question. This question should be addressed to SA. Professionalism is about saying what you know, not saying what you don't know, trying not to make mistakes for the clients. Ethical standards are above anything. I'm not able to speak on behalf of Immigration SA. Similarly, Immigration SA cannot give immigration advice. It just gives, unlike a migration agent, it just gives updates about its state program. I'm working as a technician in Greater Adelaide for the last 9 months. I applied for an N1 nomination as engineering technologist on 7th September, working as SA stream, but have not got any response from them till now. I have answered this question already. I think the chat administrator is asking me to respond to this question again. So what should you do? You should talk to a migration agent, because it seems to me that you could not have claimed your experience as technician closely related to technologies. This is what you should do, briefly. The registered migration agent should look at that application and the duties you did at that job. It is very likely that you could not have made that application. That's from what I see. If I don't look at the duties, but I would want to look at the duties. With regard to processing times are long now, but it's not about the processing times. It's about whether technician can be claimed. Generally, it cannot, because engineering technologist is assisting engineer, skill level 1 job. Engineering technician is skill level 3 or lower, is a trades occupation, a different occupation. Normally, you would not be invited with that. Normally, but I would want to look at the duties. Any other questions? Okay, so look, I've told pretty much what I wanted to tell, and I was as open to answer those questions that you addressed as I could. If the questions were not in my domain, I advise to contact relevant authorities rather than me. Other than that, I'm very grateful for your time. You can book an appointment through Aussizz Adelaide. This is my place of work, and I will be happy to see you and advise. Note that we don't give self-lodgement advice. We don't advise people how to lodge applications themselves. We give professional migration agent advice, and we want to win the business of lodging your application for state nomination. We want to win your trust by our professionalism, knowledge, and ethics. So we welcome all serious applicants who are willing to succeed and get the nomination and get the visa. Talk to us, book with us, and we'll be able to work on a pathway that will work for you in pursuing your migration goals. Very happy to have shared this hour with you. It was a breeze, very enjoyable. Thanks, everyone. Contact the office or my email, and see you soon at appointments. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening.